Go ahead.
My name is Tryphena Rogers. I am the owner of Legacy Beauty, and we're on S.T.A.R.V.E Talk with J Haleem.
I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
I am in the studio with J Haleem. I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
You are now in the studio with J Haleem.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy J Haleem, and you are definitely on S.T.A.R.V.E Talk one more time. I keep trying to upgrade this thing, so I go all the way to the West Coast and go get this lovely young lady right here. So, you know, they got to upgrade me. When you come on here, you know, I got to be doing it a little bit better than me so I can lift up a little bit. So, no, I met this beautiful young lady a few weeks ago. We were talking, we were about to participate in the same function. And then, you know, we follow each other on social media, and I just started digging. I was like, wow, man, you know, she's rocking and rolling. She's doing her thing. But more importantly, she's a sister, as you can see. And you're going to learn some more about her. But I said she definitely represents what we talk about when we say S.T.A.R.V.E Talk. Stand tall and reclaim victory every day. There's a lot of people who saying it. A lot of people saying it. They're doing something. But I need the people who really getting it out the mud. I need the people who really going through these struggles, not for me, but to help you. Because somebody's listening to this who's in her circumstance and feel like they can't do it, or they need a little bit more help. They need something else before they can go ahead and step over and go into this thing that they want to do. But she's doing it. And I pray by the end of this conversation, you'll be motivated enough to say you can probably do it too in your own right. So if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, this is Miss Tryphena Rogers. And listen, let me tell you something. You see the hair, right? You see the hair. That's her specialty. She gets busy. So she's the CEO of Legacy Beauty LLC. Go and follow her on social media. She's going to talk about that, but you see all the things that she do with beauty products. And again, she's a walking billboard herself. But thank you so much for stopping and talking to me for a little while today. How you doing?
I'm good. Good. I was supposed to be all done now. Could not get myself together.
It's okay. Look, you gotta save something for them. Tell them to go on your page.
Right.
You know, we're gonna put your page up here, everything like that. Cause they'll see it when they go on that page. They'll be like, "Oh, okay, this is what she's doing."
Right.
So, you know, you got your business. You're from LA originally. You know, what happened to get you from LA to Vegas?
The prices. LA was extremely expensive at the time. Well, Vegas is becoming the mini LA, but LA was extremely expensive at the time. Like you said, I don't know if you said it to them, but I'm a single mom. So it just got to the point where it was just really hard for me to survive out there. I would, you know, have preferred to stay there, but it just was hard. So I came here.
Makes sense. I mean, I was gonna get to that part. And people need, again, this is life. And the fact that I'm glad you said that, because a lot of single mothers will sit and say, well, I can't do this because of this. And nobody's stopping you. I read a book years ago, and I remember, I'm like, this book was written in like the early 20s, where you couldn't just go across to different states and do whatever you felt like doing. You know what I'm saying? But like here, you can just pick up and go to another place where it's a little bit easier for you to do it. So what makes you think that a lot of people are not like you and won't pick up and do what they need to do? They'll just sit there and stew in it.
They don't know. Like, I feel like they just don't know that they can. Like, I was like that. Like, I was like that for a long time, where I was just in my misery, and I was bouncing from house to house. I stayed in shelters. And it just got to one day I woke up and I just was just like, I can't like live like this. Like, I can't. This is not the life that was meant for me. This is not the life that I'm meant for. So I had to like get more. Even when I moved to Vegas, my mindset wasn't there. I was just trying to get past the little stump that I was in. So I didn't have the mind frame at that time that it could be more than just me moving to Vegas and getting a job and surviving in Vegas. Yeah. Like, I was just moving here just to survive.
Sometimes it's all it takes is a move, and it don't have to be a move to another place, but just a move, period. You know, going down a certain path and you know it's not leading you where you want to go. You know, we get ourselves, not just women, but men, people, period. You know, we just get so comfortable, even in our misery, or comfortable with the BS that we used to. And we're afraid it might be BS in the next place, but, you know, hey, at least it's something different, and it can possibly lead you somewhere else, as opposed to, you know, where this path is going to lead you. You know, so so what's holding people back from gaining that knowledge, though? Because you, like you said, you don't think that they know. What's holding people back from getting that type of knowledge?
Honestly, it took for me to start listening to other people when they told me that they saw something great in me, that I could do it. I took this life skills class, and I started to like realize certain stuff about myself that was holding me back. The class like really taught me a lot about myself. So I think it's more so focusing within and realizing the potential that you have inside of you. I don't think a lot of people, I have friends today that were my friends back then that are still stuck. And it's just because they don't know who they are for real on the inside. So, and it's not that people aren't telling them who they are. It's just that they're not listening, because I wasn't listening. My mom always told me I was going to be something great. And I'm still walking around talking about, I ain't got nobody. And I'm, you know, like, but I had people in my corner that I just was not listening to. So
I love that. I love that. That's, you know, the personal development piece, going to a class was everything, but also talking about the fact that people aren't listening. You know, like that's a big deal. We were doing a training recently, maybe a couple months back, and we focused on that skill, that listening skill, and I understand how powerful that is. And a lot of people in relationships, in their own life, listening is a real skill that you have to actually learn how to do and how to use, because a lot of our problems come from not listening. We already have a response before somebody even finished talking. We're not understanding. We can see it, especially, you know, we got the social media age, our cell phones. Somebody's talking, you might see their head go down because they're looking at a phone or some type of distraction, those type of things. So I believe, did you get yourself into a place where you were like, all right, forget everything else, I'm going to clear my head and actually focus at this point? Did you need to do something like that before you were able to go forward?
Yeah, I actually fell into like this deep depression. Like even when I moved to Vegas, things weren't quite working out. And I fell like into like this bad depression. I was like immobile for 2 weeks. Like I just could not pick myself up. Like, and I remember he's 16 now, but my oldest son, he's just like, he kind of like waved me off and was kind of like, Mom, you always get through it.
Wow.
And then it was even now, like I don't fall into those 2 week long depressions anymore. I used to do it all the time. But and my son used to cuddle me. And then this one day, I guess he got tired of it. And he was like, Mom, you always get through it. Like you always do this and you always end up getting through it. All you're doing is wasting time. And it was just like, dang, he's right. Like I'm all I'm doing is wasting time. So now I still give myself time to be sad about my circumstance, but a day, max. I have to pick myself up in a day, because I can't do that. Like I don't have time to do that, because that messes me up and it puts me further into the situation when I'm sad and I can't pick myself up for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So it was just me realizing that I always make it through. It doesn't matter what the circumstance is. I just can't sit in it no more, because that makes it worse, you know?
Yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about. But I'm thankful for your child too, for your son, because a lot of times, you know, when we go into these depressions or we go into these type of funks, we get rid of the rest of the world, but you can't really get rid of your kids. And so, you know, they're still there. And it's a special thing that when they start to become your friends and they start to become people that you lean on, because they're little people now, you know, they're not 4 and 5 anymore. Whereas it's like, I don't know what mommy or daddy doing, but like they have an opinion about things too. And they're seeing things as well. And at that point, it's like, this is who I have. So if I'm listening to nobody else, I'm definitely going to listen to him or her. So that was cool to definitely have him in the space and being present in mind like that with you. Right. You know, you just never know where it's going to come from, but I definitely know it's a dope situation coming from your son. So shout out to him for being there for mommy. So, you know, we're going to talk about this booming business that you have, but coming off of this part, do you find any therapy in what you're doing with your business?
I do actually. It's so funny because when I first started, I didn't think it was therapeutic. I did it because I love hair, and I just wanted to make money.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Right, but just the people that support me, people that I don't know, people that I do know, people that I meet in passing, the support that I find, even when people just share my stuff, that is all therapeutic, because it reminds me that I'm not in this by myself. That, and also bigger than just my business, it reminds me, because especially with the world that we're living in today, it reminds me that there are people, good people out there, people that are there, that are just genuinely loving towards other people. And I think that's important. That's an important thing to take from it, because there's people who support me with nothing to gain, you know, even when it's just reposting my stuff, or you know, even when it's just reposting my stuff, there's people who support me with nothing to gain. They just are just by my side. People I don't know. That's what blew my mind. Some people you don't know will support you tougher than the people that you know.
You're right about that one.
So just knowing how many good people there are in this world, that's really dope. And it makes me push harder, because my business is not even why I'm doing it. Like there's a different path that has nothing to do with what I'm doing today, that I'm working towards.
Oh wow, we're gonna get to that. So going back to when you made the decision to say, you know, I'm gonna do this business, where were you at that point in time mentally? What was your thought process? What made you make the decision to jump out?
Well, I have been thinking about starting a hair company for a long time, like years. And then the pandemic hit, and then I ended up, it's so funny because I was not working at the time or whatever. I worked for Amazon, which we didn't really close, but I ended up catching COVID. COVID was spreading through Amazon. So I took like 3 months off. So I applied for unemployment, 3 months of sitting with no money, because unemployment didn't kick in for everybody right away. I didn't have nothing. And then they came and they gave me this lump sum of money. And I had all this money at one time. I paid off my bills, but I still had a good chunk left over, because it was just all at once. I didn't want to waste it. So I started my business. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to waste the money. I didn't want to spend it frivolously or whatever. So I paid off my bills, paid, a few months off or whatever, and then just started my business. It's something I haven't talked about for years. I was just like, why not? Like at the time I was watching a lot of, what's his name? Les Brown.
Yeah. Oh,
and
man.
Les Brown is big on just do it. Just do it. I was trying to, because it was, like I said, it was during that it was a 3-month period where I didn't have no income. So I needed Les Brown, right? Because I was depressed. I'm like really feeling like, woe is me. And I was listening to him before I even got the money. Then the money came, and I'm like, then I might as well just do it. Like, what's holding me stopping me now? Because before it was that I didn't have the money. Now I got the money. So what's stopping me now?
I don't know if you picked up on this, but just listening to a couple things from you, you got a huge connection when it comes to personal development. Because whenever you decide to do something to better yourself, and I'm not talking about from an educational perspective, something major happens for you. I don't know if you connected that, because you said you started doing this class, things started happening. You started listening to Les Brown, because he's like 100% personal development. You listening to him, you're going to grow. And then here all this money come and these opportunities present itself. So kind of stick to that. Just know, like, when you ready for a breakthrough, go sign up for somebody's course, go see a class, because something major is going to happen as soon as you do that. Because that's what it seems like the pattern for your life so far. Like every time you start to try to better yourself, it's like the universe start walking in your favor. So, pay attention to that.
It definitely does. The crazy part is I have noticed that. That's why I've gotten into the pattern of doing that. Like when I feel like I fell off track a little bit, I will start burning my sage, listening to I have these these positive affirmations that I listen to from the specific person.
Yeah.
I have my people that I listen
of course.
to, but I'll start trying to hone into that, because you're right. Whenever I do that, whenever I focus in on, you know, and try to connect with the universe, big things always happen for me. You're right.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. So that's dope. So you got your bread. You didn't go to Cabo. You didn't go buy no, you know, a brand new charger, or you know, go do donuts and stuff like that and buy all the red bottoms. You went and invested into starting a business.
Yep.
And so, what was your first step? How did you went? What was the first step?
The first step was buying the hair. I went and bought a bulk of wholesale hair. Well, of course, I had to find the vendor. So I found a vendor, which was hard because I've been through a few vendors. My computer, I should have been more prepared for that.
Nah, we good. Go ahead, do what you got to do. You need to go ahead and charge up.
We good now.
Yeah. So you said you so you was looking for vendors. So you wasn't in the hair business beforehand. Like, do you do hair? Are you a stylist?
No.
Okay.
Nope. I the crazy part is I've always been obsessed with hair. Like me and my best friend, I remember me and my best friend used to sit at her house and do each other's hair like all the time. So I done been through all the stages, the quick weaves, gluing the tracks, just gluing the tracks on, the braids. I done been through every stage. When lace front first started, wow, and they look like the
yeah, like stitches or something in the front.
It looked like the Planet of the Apes.
Somebody gonna be mad at you.
I was right there.
Somebody gonna be mad at you because somebody's still doing it.
I've been through all the stages with the hair, so it just made sense. And then when we moved to Vegas, so I haven't wore beauty supply hair in I don't know how long. So, but when I first moved to Vegas, like finding good hair was like impossible. It's easy now because the pandemic, everybody got their money and they went and did the same thing that I did. They have the same idea. But but at that time, it wasn't easy. Like it was hard finding good hair vendors, virgin hair vendors, not the beauty supply hair. Yeah. So I just wanted to give something back to women like me who liked quality hair, you know? Yeah. Make it easier for them to find it. I remember I found this one spot that sold virgin hair. I spent like $400 on hair, and the hair would like mat up in the bag. It was just really bad. Like, and I've had it for a short period of time. So, but even finding a vendor, that was hard. Like finding a good vendor, I went through quite a few vendors. I've had quite a few customers. I went through quite a few customers, my kids. I went through quite a few customers. Davion, I'm doing something. Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
I went through quite a few customers calling me back, telling me, you know, that the hair was no good and I had to like go back to the drawing board and find another vendor. Yeah, it was tough.
Business 101. Business 101. If you can't be in business if you don't have one of those stories. When somebody had to give you back something or say, hey, this didn't work out. Hard. Yeah, it's crazy because I thought that, you know, you had to be somebody who was doing hair to be in that situation. So you educated me in that. So you just like hair so much and you spent enough of your money on it. So now you knew that is a whole lot of people just like you that'll be willing to spend some money for it. All right. So what was some of the other challenges that you ran into, you know, just jumping out off the porch, starting your business?
A lot. For one, I learned I know. So I already knew I was bad at finances. So when starting a business, that like shines, like you can see how horrible you are if you're horrible at finance. Because like I try to keep track of my spending for my business. I try to keep track of you know, everything. It just I was very unorganized. I have to get more. I'm more organized today. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely saw how bad I was with my finances. I'm an impulsive buyer. So even with my business, like if I see something that I want, or if I think of something that I want to do, I'll just spend it without considering where that was going to put me personally and business-wise, financially. So that's been a struggle. I'm definitely going to hire a finance person once I get big enough. Marketing wise, it's tough marketing yourself. Like it's really tough, especially when you come from, you don't know anything about marketing. My social media page wasn't that great. Oh my gosh. You should have saw it at first. Like I watched a lot of YouTube to get to where I am.
That's what it is.
My
That's what's going on right now. Yeah. You did the right thing.
Like
you
even with my finances, watching YouTube, trying to figure out how to learn what different types of bank accounts I should have as a business, learning how much I should be putting to the side, learning how much I should be spending on advertising, learning how much of it I should be spending on the product, and how much I should be putting to the side for different ventures that I might want to try. Just it's all like there's a lot that goes into business that you don't realize when you're like, ooh, I'm gonna start a business.
Now, one thing about YouTube is this, and I'll tell you this, as somebody who's been in business for 20 years, find your people, right? And the people who are your people. So you might find your finance person right now, or maybe your finance 1 or 2 people. You find your marketing 1 or 2 people, and so forth and so on. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be able to dictate your growth by how they wear. When you don't want to listen to them no more, you grew. Because like you think about the Gary Vaynerchuks of the world, he always say, if you still listening to me 5 years later, you're not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So like they're not there. They're there for the next person. People start businesses every day. And so at that level that you at when you first start listening, that they're good for that level. But 2 years from now, you shouldn't want to listen to them again because they're still talking to the same people and you're no longer that person. And so then you find your next group of core people that you can be as like pseudo mentors for. So as you're growing, you go ahead and move on to the next set of people because you'll get information overload and you got all these people telling you to go in different directions because they're successful. What works for them don't always work for you.
Exactly.
Find the people who you can you understand what they're talking about overall, and then see how you can take it and implement it into what you're doing. Because somebody good at social media, but they've been marketing and selling credit, it's a whole different ballgame selling hair.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So how did that fit me selling hair? And so think about that because you definitely don't want to get caught up in the information overload piece because YouTube University is so, plentiful.
Vast.
And people, this person might look good when they talk. They got way more better presentation. This person, and you just get caught down that rabbit hole, and you find a lot of people doing a lot of that, but not out here doing the work. And the work never changes. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You go in there, get like school is school until it's over. After you get out of school, you got to put in the work. You got to show people what you learned. And so you're going to spend way more time showing people what you learned than you are, learning something from school. So just have that. That's something I would tell you. Because I did that. I jumped out as a photographer. My people who I listen to, I don't even listen to them no more because they still talk to beginners.
Right.
They're great, but they just talk to beginners. I'm not a beginner anymore. So it's nothing I can listen to them. It can be cool and nostalgic to listen to them, but at the same time, they're not telling you how to set your settings up. Like I can do that with my eyes closed. I don't need to hear that. So you got to make sure you're moving in the right direction. So, but I love the fact that you went that route because again, a lot of people would say, well, nobody's here to tell me. Nobody's here to tell me how to
It's not today. You gotta get past that today. You gotta go find somebody because no one in my family is successful. No one in my family has ever even attempted to start a business. So I can't, and none of them are good with finances. So there are people I cannot turn to. I can't turn to them to have a successful business. If I'm trying to build a successful business, they don't even understand what I'm experiencing right now.
Wow.
So I have to turn somewhere. Like I can't just until I find my mentor who's doing the same thing that I'm doing, and was successful at it. I have to kind of like find different mentors via social media.
No,
So
I think that's amazing. That's amazing. And that's something somebody need to pick up from you, because another part we talked about off camera is that, again, you're a mom. And so talk about that transition from being the working an Amazon mom to now you always working as an entrepreneur. Mom,
right.
the work don't stop.
And I still work at Amazon. So I work full time. I'm a full-time entrepreneur, which is hard, especially since I work nights, right? So, and my vendors are in China. So I'm at work, like hiding from my
I'm not going to tell nobody that I'm going to edit that part out that you're at work talking to people in China when you're trying to get me my package.
No, for real. I'm telling you, but I have to do what I have to do.
No, I wrote about that. So I know what you're talking about. I wrote about that.
Right. So, and then dealing with them, you see, I'm working right now. The 16-year-old, he the big one. You would think that he'd be the one that's trying to keep everybody quiet. No, he's right along with the noise, So it's tough. It's been tough. It's all a learning experience. But the biggest thing that I feel like the most rewarding thing from that is they're going to be something else.
Yes.
They're going to be crazy business people because they see me constantly working. I'm constantly working. I have my off days where I just can't, and I take personal days. I'm not one of those entrepreneurs that is like, I have to. I'm one of those people that understands that if your body feels like resting, rest. Because if I go too hard, then I'm not going to be no good for my business, my kids, or work.
Yeah.
So the days that I feel like I just cannot get out of bed, I just need to sleep a little bit longer, I do.
Yeah. That's a level of discipline. People are afraid to hear that word, because there's always a negative connotation in it. But, in order to be a successful entrepreneur, you definitely got to have a level of discipline and good habits, because discipline and good habits outlast passion and motivation.
Right.
And so when people saying follow your passion, well, that's only a feeling and it don't last always. And same as motivation, it's just a feeling, doesn't last always. So when you don't feel like doing something, you're gonna either be disciplined or you're gonna be, or you're gonna have good habits. So you got good habits, you're not even thinking about it, you're just doing it. But if you discipline, you'll still do it even though you don't feel like doing it, because it has to be done. So as a parent, you never get no better training like that than being a parent, because it's a lot of stuff, as my kids got old, I tell them straight up, I don't want to do this, but I'm doing it because it's you. Because they need to hear that. They need to understand that, like, our parents wouldn't tell us that. They'll just, not say anything. But look, I don't feel like doing this. I'm doing this because of you. So the sacrifice, what that looks like. So you're not taking it for granted. So the same thing is with a business. A business is a baby. It's yours. It's your idea. You birthed it, and you got to babysit it. You got to do a lot of things in the beginning you don't want to do. It's consuming. It's consuming, and 5 or 6 years to start, talking and having his own ideas, and and it's taking you stuff with other places, and then that's cool. You roll with that. You manage it. But in the beginning phases, you have to literally be all over that thing. And so with parents, sometimes, especially single parents, you have a lot of bumping heads. So what was some of the hard parts? Or probably, and you're going through it right now, what are some of the hard parts when you're like, okay, I just got off work, I know I got to get this order out or whatever, and then you got the kids? Like, what are some of the things you run into, some of the obstacles you run into when it's just like, it's only you that got to get all this stuff done?
Well, for one, when I get off of work, it's 5 a.m. and the kids got to be up for school by 6, so I can't go to sleep. So I work a full 10-hour shift, come home, I sit around. I usually say I'm going to go to the gym, but never happens after a 10-hour shift to stand on your feet. But the gym is supposed to keep me up. I sit around and I'm trying to keep my eyes open. Gotta wake them up 30 minutes after I get in the door, getting them ready for school, take them to school. It's 8:30. Mind you, I have a 2-year-old. So the sleep is very scarce. because even if I do lay down and get sleep, I'm having to wake up to check on her, make sure I'm a light sleeper too, so I can hear everything. Yeah, no, and then still try to get my orders go out once a week, so that it's not that bad. I don't have to, but once my business picks up, it's gonna be even worse. But right now I'm only sending orders out once a week, but I'm still answering messages about orders. I'm still taking orders throughout the week or whatever. I'm not one of those people. There's a lot of people who hit me up like, oh, I'm glad you answered. I've contacted this many hair places and none of them are responding to me. I'm not that. Like, I'm like literally responding in between sleep. I'm responding to messages from people. So it definitely can be challenging because there's not really any me time unless I like take the me time.
Yeah.
So
no, this is one of the reasons why I wanted you on here, because people have to, like, it's like the black woman, the single black female entrepreneur, she's like a myth.
Right.
know, it's like nobody's highlighting her. And if it is, it's like once she's won, like she's already superwoman, you know what I'm saying? And oh, I've done it. So a lot of sisters are looking like, oh, well, it's all good. She already did. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody that's a millionaire trying to give you advice. You're like, it's easy for you to say, because nobody tells the story about going through.
Mm-hmm.
And on this show, I like to highlight that part, because I can listen to a motivational speaker. I'll talk about somebody like Eric Thomas. I don't know him personally, but I hated listening to him back in the day, because all it was a bunch of yelling. I'm from North New Jersey. Yelling doesn't move me. Like you're yelling. And then he was saying some outlandish stuff to me. Well, you don't want to sleep. You want to sleep. You don't want to work. You should be up at 2 o'clock in the morning, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, that's not realistic. People got to get some sleep.
Really?
But then as I got to know him and through his work, I started hearing the discipline part of it. He he goes to bed at 7 o'clock at night. That's why he's up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, because he go to sleep early. Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's a level of discipline.
The crazy part is I barely get sleep. Like I have a 5-hour window to sleep. And like I said, I'm answering messages. I'm dealing with my daughter. Within those 5 hours of me resting, then I have to wake up and get the kids ready for school, then finish my day to go to work that night.
But can't nobody call you lazy? And that's what he was saying. That's what was coming across to me, that somebody was lazy if they wanted to sleep and what have you. It's like, no, you want to be healthy at the same time. It is people out here that's trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, you got other kids that's older. That 2-year-old will be older before you're gonna go to sleep, wake up, and then she will be, he or she will be in school and all those other things, and then that's going to give you some more free time. So that's the beautiful thing about kids. They don't stay the same age and they start to get a little bit more independent. So you're coming around that corner. But when I used to listen to these people, they would skip right to the winning, and they're not telling you exactly how it was. And then I turn away from that. And so I was like, this is my platform. Let me talk to people so that other individuals can hear, like, this is what I'm going through right now. Like, I only got 3 hours of sleep, not because I didn't want more sleep, but I had to take calls. I had to make sure my orders was right. I had to make sure my kids was out. I had to perform at work at my 9 to 5 while I'm trying to make it happen. And so when some sister hear that and she say, oh, well, I thought I would never be able to start my whatever business while I was working overnight 11 to 7. But she was doing it, you know what I'm saying? So I can do it too. When you just keep telling people you won, and you suck because you didn't win, that's not what this is. And I hated that. So I'm like, instead of complaining about what they're doing, let me create an opportunity for people to talk about what it really looks like. Because this is hard. People are killing themselves as entrepreneurs. People are losing sleep. Their health is diminishing, trying to make it. And then the ones that do make it, you can't forget that part of it. You can't forget that part of the story. You have to tell people that you understand when they're not sleeping. You understand when they're stressed out. You understand when they just feel like they can't get out of bed and they have to stay in the bed. That's what Stand Tall, reclaim victory every day, because every day is a fight.
I feel like people are so hell-bent on seeming perfect and seeming like they have it all. People are so for show now.
Yes.
And I think that's what it is, especially like social media. That's one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to start like making little social media videos where I'm like going through my day to day, showing people what I'm experiencing from day to day. I watched this one lady. It's so funny because her field is completely different from mine, but it's still motivating. She markets to women who are looking for sugar daddies. So, but she has a whole business, a whole business behind it, right? And so like there's this one video she posted where she's in the car boo-hoo crying, and she's like, I just can't do this. I have this class to do today. I have this to do today. I have this to do today. I have this to do today. And I don't know how I'm going to get it all done, because she's bigger than she was when she started. Mm-hmm. And even that, like, that's motivating, because I know on my days where I'm like, I can't do this, that I'm not the only one experiencing it. It's good to see those days, because you feel so bad when you're like, I can't do this. And people make it seem like you're like, okay, just get up and push through. No, I'm a firm believer in you need to feel it. You need to feel whatever you're feeling, feel your feelings, allow yourself to dwell in them. Not too much. You got stuff to do, but you need to feel it, and you need to sort through whatever feelings you have, so that you can organize them and use that to push you forward. People be so quick to tell you to get over it, like get over it and just get stuff done. No, like you need to feel that. It's okay to feel that. Reality.
You know, we gotta, you know, we can't skip past the reality portion of this thing.
Exactly.
And I definitely appreciate you for that. You know, just talk about your social media, because for someone who, you know, 2 years in to business, social media looks very, very good. Looks very, very good.
Thank you.
So, you know, that's the elephant in the room with a lot of people in business, you know, because you have like 3 different generations that's attacking social media right now. You got the ones like the Gen Zers that own it. You got the millennials that kind of started it. And then now you have these baby boomers that's, you know, retiring right now that just like totally hate it, right? And so nobody's able, you know, some people are able to conquer it. They'll look at you and say, wow, I had a page for, 8 years and I can't even get 200 followers. But you got a page, you've been on for 2 years far as doing business, and your page looks very, very good. What are some of the things that, you did to make your page look like the way it does?
YouTube videos.
Listen, I love it.
It's so funny because the branding, I started to see very early on that branding was important. So my social media, so I started my business 2 years when the pandemic first started, not really 2 years, maybe like a year and a half. I didn't really get serious about social media. I didn't really start posting on social media till like September of last year.
Wow.
I saw very early on that it is important to brand yourself, to figure out what your niche is, to brand yourself. I started just with selling bundles. I was just selling bundles and frontals. And then now I would prefer to only sell wigs. People still call me for frontals and bundles, so I do still sell those, but I would prefer to only sell wigs. And if it's up to me, only colored wigs. But that's not realistic. But I realized that my page needed to look, I would look at other people's social media and the ones that attracted me and the ones that kind of like pushed me, like turned me off. And I took heed to that, and I wanted to make mine look like it was well put together.
Yeah.
What makes that easy is I use the app Later, which is a social media scheduling app. So all my posts are scheduled. I don't post. I don't have time to sit there and post every day or remember to post every day.
So
I have a set day where I schedule all my posts. I was doing it once a month. It kind of like throws everything off when I do it once a month, because I'm not able to plan correctly.
Yeah.
So I've cut it down to once a week. I sit on my off day once a week and just plan all of my social media posts, post them all ahead of time and then later post them for me.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Real rap. That's what we need to hear, because again, real people are saying like, how do I sit? And then again, you are a mom, you have a full-time job and you're running the business. How, like, it's hard to remember to just, oh, let me go up 6 o'clock in the morning and put this here. Let me post every day. Like, you can't live on social media. Your kid will burn themselves on the stove or burn your house down. You won't do work. Your business, you'll miss.
I don't be on social media at all.
See, but that's the thing. That's what I needed to hear. That's what these people need to hear, because I'm telling you, you even got gurus. Oh man, social media. If you're not on social media, what's it like? Tell them exactly what's happening, because it's no way the average person that's been on social media for less than a year would not have the following that you have if they didn't have a system. If they didn't have a system, not okay, I'm just sitting on here, because they would think that you pretty much had to quit your job, be on social media all day and just post. And then this is finally somebody organically gonna start liking you.
But what I do though, is I pay attention to my what is it called? My I have to go to Instagram to remember what it's called. My insights.
Yeah,
I
your
pay
insights.
attention to that. I have goal sheets. So I have my sales goals and I have my social media goals. And I take, and like on Later, they have analytics as well. On Later and on Shopify for my store. There's analytics on both places. So I go through my analytics weekly. And so I have my goals for my sales goals set out for a year. I have my social media goals are month by month or whatever. I'm basing them off the past 3 months. So I go through that throughout the week. I check to make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be at. I schedule my Instagram ads based on what my analytics are, what my goals are. So if I'm not hitting my goals, if it's Tuesday and I'm not hitting my goals, like where I'm supposed to be at for the week, I post a social media ad and I change the reach based on where I'm at with my goals.
Love it.
So that helps me keep track of my followers, keep track of my reach, keep track of all of that.
I love it. It's just, people think these jobs have left, but they just went to social media. So some of the like what you're doing, you're talking about data entry, you're talking about real admin jobs and things of that nature, right? Those jobs hasn't gone anywhere. So they're saying, hey, baby girl.
She here? Hello.
Listen, they're thinking that, okay, well, because I got a social media, I don't have to know these skills, because you saying what you're doing, somebody will pay you a salary to do what you're doing. That's a skill set on a job. Somebody at a corporate office has to do all this inputting that you do, have to do all of this, that's virtual assistant stuff or just regular assistant things.
Right.
That's an admin. That's, big, you can get $50,000, $60,000 in the right city for that job. And you're doing that for your business. It's not just magically happening because you put your hair on social media. You said you got sales goals for a year, social media goals month to month, and you don't have the team right now, but you're having your own meetings within yourself saying, hey, are we hitting our numbers? So when you bring on a team, you're going to
learn this from a job. I learned all of this from working a job. It's so funny because I was working 2 jobs for a little bit. It was too much. But I was working a store job, and that's what they do. In stores, they keep track of their sales goals from the previous year, and then they base their current. They keep track their sales from the previous year. They base their sales goals for this year off of the previous year. So that's what I do.
Wow.
Data entry. I've had so many data entry jobs. I learned that from a job. Even with what I'm doing at Amazon right now. When it's time to ship out my packages, how my packaging should look, learned that from a job.
Wow.
Everything that I do today, I learned from a job.
You are proving me right. Y'all, listen, go get my book, You Won't Starve. First principle is hustle while you work. This young lady has been hustling while she was working, because I tell people all the time, when you go get a job, people think about the money. Now worry about the money. What can you learn from this job? Can you get skills? Can you get some people? that you need to meet. You're growing your network. What can you get from this job? And you're saying that when you look at your social media, that you have a bunch of followers, things that people will salivate over, and it came from the skills you learned at the jobs. You are really, really doing what you're supposed to be doing. So it ain't about you having a job. You can have any kind of job, but if you can learn something from it and then take it with you to make yourself better and to use it for your business, you're good. Stop telling my people to be broke while they're trying to build a business. It is hard to build a business when you don't have any money. I'm not saying you can't start a business without having any money, but it's very, very hard, damn near impossible to really build a successful business without having any money, because you have to try things. You have to experiment, and everything is not going to yield.
I spend my job money on my business. That's where most of my...
That's what it is. You said you lost $400 on a package. If you weren't working, it would have been hard to get that back. You know what I'm saying? So when you're doing this, we need that. And so we got to keep pushing out this good information to our people, because we can't knock people over the side of the head to get money. The government not going to keep giving us money like they did, for these last couple years. That's done. So all y'all that ran off the job a little fast, please go back and get your job, so that you can get right. And then hopefully all the experimenting you did, if you learned something you want to do, go back and get that job, stack up some bread, and so that you can actually have a successful business. And if you want to truly be an entrepreneur, you can create other opportunities for other individuals. But if you're going to just run because you don't want to work for nobody, well, how are you going to learn?
Even just working in the store that I was working for this company. It's called Marshall Retail Group. It's not Marshall's. It's okay. Marshall Retail Group. They've been in the game for years, right? Even just working there, they have stores in the casinos and stuff or whatever, and the airports. But one of their vendors came in and talked to me about how she got started in the hotels, and that sparked something in me. I'm like, dang, how can I get started in the hotels? It's going to be a little bit harder for me because I'm selling hair and they're looking at who their clientele is. But how can I switch my marketing to where I can appeal to them so that they can allow me to come into these hotels, and even learning the restrictions that some hotels have on what the businesses that work in there can and cannot do. All of that is valuable information. You don't know what information you're going to find. I didn't even know about this company. You don't know what information you're going to find at whatever job you're working. You don't know what valuable information. So you should never turn down any job, because you might be able to utilize that for the business that you want to start.
I think it's amazing. You got me really excited over here, because I've been trying to beat people in the head with this. And one of the things for me, I had to, take crappy jobs because I was a felon. And so being a felon and working crappy jobs, and everybody's like, oh man, well, you always in entrepreneurship, so why would you tell me to get a job? Like, it's like I'm being a hypocrite. I'm not being a hypocrite. Like, if I got a college degree and I couldn't get the 6-figure job like everybody else, so I had to do it the hard way. If I got love for you, I'm trying to tell you an easier way to do it. I'm not going to tell you to go through the same pitfalls I did. Like, that's real dirty of me. If I fell down a pitfall, I'm going to tell you to go through the same thing. Like, no, I'm going to try to cover it up so you can go around it, or tell you a better way.
And you know what's funny? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Are you good?
But you said, because you mentioned you being a felon. So let me say something. And this is just to touch on how different it is for Black men and Black women, right? I'm a felon, which you would never know. But I never had an issue getting a job. But do you know that I know so many men that are felons that had issues getting jobs?
See?
And no, I've had issues getting jobs. That's a lot. I've had issues getting jobs, but not as many as you guys do.
Yeah.
It's not as hard for me. It's as it is for you guys.
Yeah,
and that's
I totally agree.
What it is.
I totally agree. And then it's even worse for me because I have a college degree. And so me having a college degree with student loans, and then I'm supposed to get a certain caliber of job, not just a job. I supposed to be able to get a certain caliber of job. I didn't even have bad grades when I graduated. So it was like, I really should have been able to have a job. And so when I see my brother or my sister that got this dope job that they can retire from, and I'm saying you can do your business on the side, I'm saying it because I love you, because I'm like, don't come out here if you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a show. Everybody don't have to be the performer. Somebody got to be in the, somebody got to pay for tickets. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's going to watch the show if everybody's a performer? So right. I'm like, even it's for this play. And sometimes you might have people like me who got that dog in them, and you're supposed to be the one investing in me because you got the sound income. Because if I got the sound income, I don't have that dog in me no more. Wow, I can't run like this youngster I see. I'm gonna say, yo, look, let me go ahead and put, I'm gonna help you out to make it a little bit easier on you. Exactly. But people not knowing, that's why we, people, our counterparts get locked up too. But they have relationships, and their people are giving them the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to how they can get to where they need to get to. And so these conversations need to be had so that people are like, you're approachable now. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody seeing what you see in your social media, they might think you're not approachable. Because another sister that got how many followers you got, you can't even talk to them. You can't tell them they ain't millionaires. You know what I'm saying? But you approachable. And so now some sister or brother might come to you and be like, I can talk to her. I can build with her. Right. And then they can grow. They can get something out of the deal. They can grow. That's what this is about. Because everybody has a story, and you have a story, part of a story I didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? And so you talking about standing tall and reclaiming victory every day. The world only knows what fight you had every day trying to get to this point. You know what I mean? It sound easy, it look easy, but only you can tell it to where people understand how you was able to get victory on a regular basis, because it's definitely a fight.
Exactly.
It's definitely a fight. So you understand the acronym. What does the acronym mean to you? Stand tall, reclaim victory every day. What does that mean to you when you hear that?
Don't give up. We gotta fight for what we want every single day, especially with the skin that we live in.
Yeah.
No one's gonna hand anything to us. Like we have to grab it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be hard every day, but we got to keep pushing. So we got to keep fighting.
Yeah. Listen, y'all looking right now at somebody who is doing it, not who's done it. We're not talking about yesteryear. We're not talking about what somebody was able to do 10 years ago, 50 years ago. She's doing it now. She's walking her dogs right now. She's doing what she needs to do. And she's doing it. Sometimes it's ugly, sometimes it's pretty, but she's doing it anyway. And so this is what I want to showcase. This is what we talked about showcasing when we rebranded this podcast, because we just talked about, hey, just being in the studio with me, but it's more important than just being in the studio with me. How can we bring value to you guys as listeners and viewers? And that's putting people in this place that's going to tell you the truth. That's going to tell you that it's not all roses, but it's roses at the end. You don't see people get roses until the end of the race. You know what I'm saying? But what you don't see is that when they turn the corner, somebody handing them water to keep going. Somebody's giving them something, people cheering on the sideline. And that's our job. Because sometimes some people, we're not going to be there for the end of their journey. But when we come around them and we see that they're doing stuff like this sister right here is doing, we got to cheer her on. We got to give her some water. We got to give her, some type of remnants of motivation for her to keep on going and say, we see what you're doing. And I see what you're doing. And I salute you. I salute you. So what I want you to do is give up your social media, give up your website, all that stuff. So people right here can follow you, connect with you, and buy some of your product. Definitely.
Okay. My business Instagram is Legacy Beauty LLC, LEGACY Beauty LLC. And my personal Instagram is CEO_Legacy Beauty.
Listen, follow this sister. She's doing her thing. Look, y'all know we're not having no cornballs on here. We got people who really trying to work, who really trying to do it. This is the beauty of having a platform. You get to tell people, you know, hey, you get to dictate it. A lot of times we turn on something, hey, I don't want to hear them. Well, create your own platform so you can get the people out there that you want to hear, you know what I'm saying, and put out the message you want to put out. But yes, we definitely believe in starve, stand tall, and reclaim victory every day. That's what we're doing. We're doing it one day at a time, one show at a time right here. Y'all know how to find us, www.jhaleem.com, www.iwon'tstarve.com. Go to Starve Talk on YouTube, follow, subscribe to the page, watch us. Subscribe to the platform, Captivate platform, so that you can go ahead and listen to some of the other people that's on here. But right now we focus on this beautiful sister right here. And yo, thank you so much for doing your thing. And I just got to the Vegas area myself, so I look forward to us doing some other things together and some other projects.
Yes.
But again, just congratulations on what you've done thus far, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to be doing in the near future.
Thank you.
No problem. Enjoy the rest of your day, you guys. We see y'all next week. Peace.
Bye.
I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
And I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
I am in the studio with J Haleem.
I am in the studio with J Haleem. I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
You are now in the studio with J Haleem.